Hi everybody. We're gonna do some cooking today. I need to do something to relieve some stress. So I'm stress drinking caffeine and we're gonna cook. My friend who has terminal cancer, her mom just died. She lived a long life. She was 102. But I didn't get to see her since before COVID. It kills me that I couldn't say goodbye. So, and my friend's getting worse, so it's a bit of stress. We are going to make stuffed shells. This is what we're doing. Okay, we're going to stuff these. You can also make this as a lasagna. You can also make this as a lasagna with lasagna noodles. I've gotten 2 dishes prepared. This is the one, because I want to cook that one tonight, and this one, which will go in the freezer. On the stove, you and me are going for a walk. On the stove, in the cast iron Dutch oven that is my baby, I've got, hold on, I've got to figure out where your camera is, Joe. There it is. We've got jumbo shells cooking in hot water with salt and pepper. When you're cooking pasta, your time to season that pasta is when you put it in the water. Okay, pasta's not really seasoned. You're going to want to not splash yourself like I just did, but you're going to want to put some seasoning in your water because that's how you're going to season the pasta itself. Now, we're not going to do this all the way. We're just going to pre-boil these. We're going to half cook them so that they're almost done, but not quite. Because that'll make it easier to stuff them, and then they'll go in the oven. My oven is preheating. It is set to 400. I have an old-fashioned oven without a preheat function. So in this bowl, I've got 2 cans rinsed and drained them well of spinach. Mom and I both like spinach, so that's an ingredient. To that, we are going to add a few things. A 30-ounce container of ricotta cheese. And I forgot to get us. Be right back. Need one of these things, whatever, rubber spatula. Let me move this pan so we need it. I sprayed my pans with extra virgin olive oil spray. You use what you want, you do you. You know how I feel about that. You do you. You can use coconut oil, you can use vegetable oil, whatever you want. I always, I'm gonna need that. I always keep the box near me because your trash can go in there, especially like the plastic lids and stuff. Keep that, fill that box up and then put it in the trash. Don't worry, this thing's clean. So to the spinach, we're adding ricotta cheese. This is a 30-ounce container. I'm making a full batch because I want some to go in the freezer. I batch cook even when it's, especially when it's me and Mom. Mom works outside of the home. I take care of the home space, and, I want her to have a hot meal when she wants one. So this is a good one you can freeze. Now, if you start seedlings, punch some small holes in this and keep it to start your plants. But we're not keeping those. We don't need to. Now, I need to go over and stir my noodles and turn them down because I had them on high to start. So I turned them down to medium-high so they can continue to cook. To this bowl, I'm adding now, let me get the plastic lid off, a 24-ounce container, of cottage cheese. This goes in the bowl too, just dump the whole thing in. Unless you're halving the recipe, then half a container, or if you're doubling. This is so simple to double. Now you can also use meat in yours. I am not, because Mom can eat red meat, but I can't any longer eat red meat. My stomach, after COVID, for some reasons, I still can't. Some foods still taste like trash, and I don't want to go there. So, we're using spinach instead. I don't need that yet. To this, we're going to now add a few things. We're going to add some smoked paprika. You can add whatever seasoning you like. I'm just doing what I like, so some smoked paprika. But if you have smoked paprika, it's a little stronger than regular paprika. I'm also adding a little bit of allspice, but I don't want much. Then I'm going to add some roasted garlic and roasted red pepper. God, this stuff smells so good. Sorry, Lord. Sprinkle that in. I'm going to add some Parmesan Romano. I've only got this. If you've got fresh, more power to you. But I don't. I've only added about 1/4 cup of that. You'll see me moving things because they go in separate cupboards and putting them in piles where they go to be put up as I use them. So, like the spices, they go on the end of the counter closest to the pantry. That way I know what I've already used. Now I've got a few quirky little ingredients for you. This is Dijon mustard. I am only putting about 1 or 2 tablespoons. Or teaspoons. About a teaspoon. That goes in the fridge, so that goes over that way. This is going to be weird, folks, but I also am going to put about 2 teaspoons of barbecue sauce. That's good. Let me go poke my shells, because like I said, we don't want them to boil to completely done. They're almost to the point we need them. They're almost there. So, I've got all this stuff in my bag. Now we're going to add we are going to save some of this for the top, but I like to make a really cheesy filling. So we are going to add some Colby Jack. I'm just going to grab some and stick it in the bowl. If you want exact measurements, a 1/2 cup, maybe a cup. Because I want to save some for the top. Yeah, I'm going to add mozzarella, but I need to get into it first. Cheese, for me, these kind of meals, the reason why it's so heavy on things like cottage cheese and other cheeses like this is because I have to get protein in. And I struggle with meat. After I had COVID, I really struggle a lot with meat. So it's very difficult for me to get enough protein in anymore because I can't drink the protein shakes. They make me very ill. The last one caused a seizure. So we're not going to play that game. This is triple cheddar. Fancy shredded triple cheddar cheese. It's Vermont cheddar, sharp cheddar, and mild cheddar. Now, that's all in here. You're going to want to add a little salt because you don't cook without it. This is pink salt. You can use what you like. And a little bit of pepper. But I have trouble with this shaker, so I'm going to put it in my hand. If you're doing this without the lid, always pour it in your palm. Otherwise, you are going to have a problem if the pepper comes out too quick. Stir that up, and that's our filling. Our shells are just about done, so I'm going to clear my sink because I need to drain them. Now mine cooked quicker than yours might because I have a cast iron Dutch oven. My baby, my cast iron Dutch oven is my baby. So I pretty much got rid of most of the cast iron. Mom and I talked it over when I moved out, and we sold it to my friend who has an antique store because she wanted it. And because I'm having trouble, we think I had the tests say I had a mini stroke. So I can't lift a lot of stuff with my left. I'm getting better. And I'm, doing exercise and getting better and strengthening myself, but that would be something I wouldn't have been able to use anymore. So unfortunately, even though I hate to, we had to go to cheaper things like that. Be right back. I gotta dip under the counter and get a colander. I know it's almost to the end of harvest season. We're officially in fall. If you've got green tomatoes, Mom picked this up for my great nephew tonight when he comes in, so he's getting that. If you've got green tomatoes, put them in a colander to ripen, because that will give it airflow. I've got several in here. I only had one tomato plant survive this year, but it was enough for me and Mom to get, I didn't get to put any up for the winter, but we got some fresh veggies. I'm planning on buying a raised wooden bed because I don't know anybody to make them, so I'm going to buy one during the winter so that we can have some other things like bell peppers, onions, and stuff like that next summer. I won't be able to put much of it away, but we'll see. Alright, let me put this. This is my lid. It needs washed. I'll do my dishes up for my mom because it's not fair for me to cook and then her have to come in from working all day to the dishes. That's not typically fair. So, all right, they're done. So we will turn off the stove eye. Be careful when you're moving hot foods. If you're using a Dutch oven like mine, it has a handle. I want to make sure the handle is facing me, not facing away, because it gets in the way and it will cause problems. So just drain those into the colander, and don't set your empty pan on a eye that just got turned off if you're using a gas stove, because there's going to be current still going through that. Now I'm going to rinse these a little so that they cool down so I can handle them. You don't have to do that part, but I have to because of my hands. So we're going to fill the one for the freezer first. I have here Ragu. This is not sponsored, but I have Ragu 6 cheese sauce. I think Mom got them both the same. This is one of our favorites. Now, if you have a jar like this and you can't get it open, take your jar and take your knife, push it up under the rim just like that. I gotta put it on the counter to do that. What this does is it breaks the seal, and then you can open your jar. It just gives you a little bit of a seal break, enough that you can open your jar and keep going. So I'm going to take big spoon. This was my grandparents'. It's actual silver. It's the only, but I love it for measuring things out because it's shaped. So I'm going to put about 3 spoonfuls in the bottom. Now you can add stuff to this. You can add veggies to your sauce. That would be really good, or meat to either your sauce or your filling. Either way, that's fine. We're going to take one of these shells, and I'm going to take this, not that spoon. I'm picky. I like these long-handled spoons for this. And you're going to take a spoonful and just put it right in there. You're just putting it right in the center. If some falls out, that's okay. Let it be in the bottom there. It's going to be fine. But I got about 1 spoonful in, and then you lay it on top of the sauce and just keep going. Hot, hot. Like I said, you could add cooked chicken to this. You could get one of them rotisserie chickens or some canned chicken. I could have done that, but I didn't think about it. I do have canned chicken in the pantry, but I wanted this to just be a veggie type. Now, if you get one that's torn like this, that's fine. It cooked a little more than I probably needed it to because I'm yakking. But what I do is just fill one side and then plop the other side on as a cover. And you're just gonna put this on top of that sauce you put down. Oh, and fill up your pan. Woohoo, hot. If it's hot, run some cold water over those noodles so you can handle them. It's not gonna hurt them. You want them cooked enough to open, that you can handle them like this, but you don't want them overcooked. And I almost overcooked mine. Here's what it looks like when you put it in the pan. And once I get the pan full, I will show you that. I knew this week something was going to happen this week. You have one of those feelings, you know. And Josie, the lady that passed, was 102 years old. Wonderful artist. She comes from Puerto Rico. She came here when she was young with her family. Brought her family, I'm sorry. That would be my friend Ann and her sister, whose birthday is on Halloween, believe it or not, my friend Ann's sister. Now they're in Florida, but everything's going to be done up here, so they got to make arrangements. So they'll let me know later when the funeral and stuff is. But yeah, sometimes you just have a feeling, you know. But I'm okay. 102, folks. She lived a wonderful life. She was a very talented artist. She played castanets, and she brought a whole bunch to the art group one time. Instruments from Puerto Rico so that we could see them and play them and have fun. She was a feisty thing. She was barely 5 feet tall. But man, she took a machete to a banana tree one time because they have to keep them. Her Ann's sister Janie has banana trees, but they're keeping them in pots, so they have to keep them certain, keep them certain height and stuff. Because she does get bananas off of them, but she doesn't want to plant them in the ground because hurricanes and stuff, she can bring them inside. So they try to keep them at a certain height. In fact, she was just in that last hurricane, but everybody's okay. Now, if you've got a bigger family, you could do this in 2 layers. I know I'm saying a lot, and if you're ever in a drama class, a speech class, they say don't say or they say take a breath instead. Here's what we've got so far. So we can put another layer on. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab shredded cheese now that all our shells are full for the first layer. Grab some shredded cheese. Now you can do more sauce first. I do more cheese first and then the sauce. So this is Colby Jack. Then I'm going to dive into my triple cheddar. I've got 2 bags here. I want to save one of the triple cheddar bags for Mom because she likes to make egg burritos. So I want her to make sure she has cheese for her egg burritos. And what else? What else? What else? There was something else. Yeah, mozzarella. Duh. And now, what I'm going to do now, I'll show you this in just a sec. This is what we've got. You can foil this and make this the dill, or you can go for another layer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do another layer. Oh, sauce. Duh, I forgot it. Put your sauce on now. It's easier for me to use a spoon to spread the sauce. You do what is best for you, but just enough sauce to cover. That's why I've got 2 jars here, because this is a great freezer meal, make ahead freezer meal, because this will freeze and you can just pop it in the oven right from the freezer. And this is what we've got. Now, I'm going to go for another row. And you can also add, if you made extra filling, you can add a filling on top of the cheese. and sauce layer, just for more yumminess. Isn't that a wonderful word? Yumminess. I'm so technical, I tell you. Sometimes your noodles are going to be one inside the other, so be careful with these big ones like that. Sometimes they do get one inside the other. I've had people use sausage for this, with this. That would be really good. Like I said, chicken, turkey, you know, canned chicken. You can use any filling, any meat you really want for this. Just make sure you cook it ahead of time, because when you put this in the oven, this is pretty much cooked. It's just going to melt and warm everything up. It's going to melt together, and you're going to have yummy. Now, if you have extra filling, or if you don't want to make this right now, but you have room in your freezer, make the filling and then freeze it. You will be able to thaw it. Then all you got to do is pre-boil your noodles, or use the box lasagna. You could use this for lasagna. Use your box lasagna noodles, you know, ready to bake. Assemble, stick it in the oven. If some little Joe has baseball game, football, whatever, you know, you've already got it. The sauce. This mixture can be used for many different things. So if you want to make this mixture ahead of time, shove it in the freezer for easy use on meals, that would be great. I've got a smaller pan, so I'm not going to do real heavy on the second layer as far as filling the noodles, because I don't want to overspill my pan. Then I have to clean the oven. And Mom just cleaned the oven, so we're not going to make more work for poor Mom. If you have room in the middle of your rows, when you put your noodles on top, if like fall to the edges or something, you can put a noodle down the center, which I'll show you in a minute, because I'm just about done. Almost. I'm to the end. So you just scoop it up like that. Alright, one more, and this pan is finito. Now, see how I put one down the center? Two down the center. I could have put a third down the center, but I'm not going to. Now I'm going to add cheese again. So Colby Jack, just because that's my favorite. Triple cheddar. I'm a cheese queen. I love cheese. Like I said, I've got to get protein in because I did have weight loss surgery, but I struggle with the protein shakes, and I struggle with meat. Ever since I had COVID, I struggle severely with meat. So this is a way I can get that without a problem. And then I'm going to add just a little more sauce, because I like a little more sauce. But that is this complete. Put this in the oven. I do 400 degrees for about 30 minutes. You can do covered or uncovered. I usually cover it. If you leave it uncovered, your cheese will get a little crispy maybe, but that's all this is. I'm going to put this one over here because it's getting covered for the freezer. In fact, I have the lid. Hey guys, what did I do? Oh, there it is. This is the lid, so this one's going straight in the freezer. I know it sounds silly to probably fix this much for 2 people, but we can eat. Mom and I don't like to cook every day. That's just the God's honest truth. We don't. So if we don't have to cook every day, that's, you know, great. I'm just pouring the rest of what I've got in this one jar on the bottom. This is a pie dish, really, but Mom and I bake in it a lot. I like baking in glass, but you can bake in whatever you want. And I've got enough to finish this. And I'll probably have filling left. So I probably will top this with some of that filling instead of saving it, just because I like a lot. Now, I used a couple ingredients you don't have to use. If you don't want to use barbecue sauce, if you don't want to add a little Dijon, don't sweat it. Do what you do. But that's how it rolls. Now, I know people say, well, I'd like to see the finished product, but squeezing this video in because I'm gonna help with funeral arrangements and stuff on this end. So if you want to see the finished product, make the dish. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.